Now the floor is given to Colonel Dmytro Hutsulyak, Ministry of Defense of Ukraine spokesperson and ATO-related issues. Good afternoon, everyone. During the last 24 hours, Russian occupation forces continued to actively violate ceasefire along the line of confrontation. In the Lugansk sector, 9 precision shellings were registered. The enemy 3 times used against our defenders of Krymsky mortars of 120 and 82 mm of caliber, accompanying it with the shellings with the use of grenade launchers and other types of infantry weapons. Also, the enemy delivered fire with the use of 82 mm mortars in the direction of Popasna region. And also the enemy used grenade launchers of different systems and large caliber machine guns and against our defenders near Zaitsevo, Novolugansk, Novogorodsk, Katerinivka and Svetlodarsk. And the servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine returned fire nearly in each case of shelling delivered by the enemy, and they returned fire with the use of service infantry weapons that are not prohibited by the Minsk agreements. In the Donetsk sector, there were 2 violations of ceasefire committed by Russian occupation forces. In the evening, the enemy used near Vodene the mortars of 120 mm of caliber and large caliber machine guns. Also, enemy delivered long-term precision shellings with the use of grenade launchers, large caliber machine guns, and other types of small arms in the direction of our defenders near Opet. Now, on the whole, during the last 24 hours, 11 precision shellings delivered by the enemy were recorded. And the occupants launched at our servicemen more than 30 mines with the use of mortars of 120 and 82 mm of caliber, and using service infantry weapons not prohibited by the Minsk agreement. Servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine 7 times returned fire. And unfortunately, we have to inform that on the 12th of February, we sustained a loss in the result of enemy shelling. Yesterday at about 10 in the ATO zone, 1 serviceman was killed. He was born in 1980. Our hearts go out to the relatives and close ones and combat comrades of our defender. Also, in the result of shelling, 2 servicemen were wounded. Our defenders were evacuated to military mobile hospitals. The state of health of one of the servicemen is satisfactory. 1 more serviceman is his status of mid-severity. Now they are provided with all necessary qualified medical assistance. According to information provided by the main intelligence department of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, Command of Occupation Administration continues the measures to force local residents in temporarily occupied territories of the east of Ukraine to participate in combat actions in the framework of Russian occupation forces. And the representatives of so-called military commissariats register local residents who arrived at mobilization meetings as people who have already sworn an oath to occupation regime. Commanders of the occupants focused their main attention in the course of training of participants of mobilization meetings to provide manning for mortar and artillery units of Russian occupation forces. At the same time, a group of MPs of Ukraine, headed by First Deputy Head of Supreme Council of Ukraine, Irina Gerashchenko, went on a working visit to Lugansk Oblast. The peculiarity of the visit was that the ambassador, extraordinary plenipotentiary of the Kingdom of Spain to Ukraine, Ms. Silvia Cortés Martin, was a member of this delegation. The delegation, accompanied by officers of the Group of Civil and Military Cooperation of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, visited Katerinovka, that was recently freed from the occupants. They inspected Zolotaya and Stanitsa checkpoint and also met with the servicemen of the Armed Forces of Ukraine who complete tasks in the ADO zone. Also, engineering units of the Armed Forces of Ukraine actively continue their important and dangerous work in the ADO zone in the territories of the Donetsk and Lugansk oblasts. Over the week, our field units checked more than 3 hectares of territory for the presence of explosive objects and destroyed 5,610 units. On the whole, from the start of ATO, our field units checked more than 3,646 hectares of territory of the Donetsk and Lugansk oblasts and destroyed about 184,500 explosive objects. And they cleared more than 1,153 kilometers of roads and routes of movement.
Today, on February 13, in the main intelligence department of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, the results of intelligence activities for 2017 were summed up. The Secretary of the National Security and Defense Council, Alexander Turchina, Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Army General of Ukraine, Stepan Partarak, Head of the General Staff, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Army General Viktor Mudzenko, Chief of the Main Intelligence Department of the Ministry of Defense, Lieutenant General Vasil Berbat took part in the event. The intelligence plays extremely important role in the defense system of the country at war, because the success of the major activities comprising defense capacity of the state depends on the intelligence. According to the decree of the President of Ukraine, 2 officers were awarded Bogdan Khmelnytsky orders. Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Army General Stepan Poltarak delivered awards to several other officers who demonstrated their hard work and high professionalism. Are there any questions, colleagues? No questions. Then that's the end of the briefing.